Hello. So if you are here already, kindly hold on. Let's wait for others to join. We'll commence the class. The class is supposed to be 6 o'clock Nigerian time, and let's wait for others to join in. So currently we have two people online, and I'll be going live soon. For those who are online, please kindly confirm the audio. Is it very clear? Can you hear me clearly, loudly? Let me know if my audio is very clear so I can proceed. Let me know if my audio is very clear so I can proceed. Thank you, guys. You can use the chat. You can use the chat section to send in your comments, your questions, and feedback. Okay, thank you so much, Mustafa. I've seen your comments. It's 100% clear. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Mustafa. I've seen your comments. 100%. So those of you that are here already, please put your name on the chat box. Just type your name on the chat box, so I will take that as my attendance. Presently, I can see 5 people online. Please, the 5 of us that are online, kindly use the chat to put your name and Okay, thank you so much for those who are dropping in. I think presently we are four now. One person is out of the call already. Please let us try to inform others who are not here. So I can see Mustafa A, Alaye. I can see Abdurrahim. I can also see that Zainab Adedoyin is on the call. I can see Abdurazak Abibulai. I can see you on the call. Then there is a guy called Tioli Ogunbowale Toyi Bolawale. You're welcome. Adeyemi Rukayat, I can see you. You're also putting your matric number. So, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, from now, I'll be sharing my slide now. I'll be sharing my presentation. As we know, today is the first class, and we're going to have a kind of an interactive session and something to welcome you guys to the course. Just let me know if you guys can see my screen now. So I'm currently ready for you all. So the course today is EDT 413, titled Educational Technology, Software Design and Development. That's the course title. Oh, I doubt if you guys can see my screen very well. Sorry for the little delay. I just hope it can come out better now. I've been trying to adjust the slide, the presentation, so that it can fit into the screen, so that all of us can have a very seamless view. I'm really sorry, it's still not doing very well. It's not doing as it should. So sorry for the delay. I've been having issue trying to configure my screen for everyone to see. I'm very sorry that delayed us. This it's because it's the first time I'm actually using it for a live class, except for live streaming, and that's what I do it. I use it for most of the time. So I hope I have a better screen now. Okay. So the let's talk about our talk for this evening, and I'm going to be sharing my notes on what I call, educational technology software design. So basically, that is what we want to learn today: educational technology software design. So, and then before I start fully, I don't want to leave any stone unturned, because I'm knowing that you guys have spent the last 4 years or so learning educational technology. And right now, what we need to learn now is very, very important for, for us going forward. It is a very important lesson for everyone that have, chosen educational technology as a field. And the case of software design or software development in educational technology, it's also part of educational technology. It is an important part of educational technology. So your training will not be complete, your training will not be perfect if you don't understand what educational technology, software design and development is all about. All right. So having said that, I will just proceed to the familiarization. I think if this had been a physical class, this is the time where I want to go around to talk to you guys, to ask you questions, to gauge your knowledge of what educational technology is. What are your assumptions about educational technology? So this is the time I want us to familiarize, but we are going to continue that on the classroom WhatsApp group, and that is going to be part of this course. So now let's do the question I want everyone to ask, or the question I want you to ask yourself is a very simple one. What have you learned in EduTech thus far? What have you learned in this course, in this program? What have you learned thus far? Is it worth it? Is it has it been a worthy experience for you? And then that's a question I want you to sincerely ask yourself. In the next maybe couple of months, I hope you guys will be graduating, and then uh, are you employable as an educational technologist? Will you be able to go out and stand and say, yes, I study edutech? So ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself, and if you have anything to say, please, like I said, make use of the chat group, of the chat. Sorry, make use of the chat and put your questions or your comments there. All right. So now the first question I want to go. So let me assume that we are just meeting for the first time. So I want to tell you about this course, educational technology. What is it? What is actually educational technology? So that's a question I want to discuss with you. And let me just move to the next slide. So according to the association called AECT, I know you guys must have heard about AECT before. Definition of educational technologies. I think 2014 definition of educational technology is as follows. As you can see on my screen, it is a study and an ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. Yes, I want to assume that this is the definition most of you have. I want to assume this is the definition most of you have learned. The definition had been around for quite a while now, and that has been what we've been using. I think it was uh, proposed sometimes in 2014 or so. That is the definition of edutech that most of you know. But just recently, in 2000 and 2023, a new definition of educational technology has emerged, and that is what I'll be dwelling on today. So, in the new definition of educational technology is defined as the ethical study and applications of theory, research, and practices. I want you to note the word ethical study and then the application of theory, research, and practices. So, the new definition of educational technology posits this discipline to be a study that is guided by ethics. That is not a place where you just do whatever you want to do or whatever you wish to do. There are ethics, there are laws, there are principles, there are moral judgments guiding whatever you do. And what do you do? It is not just a study, but the application of our theoretical foundations in education and other theories that we can lay our hands on. It is also the application of research. EduTech itself, it's a research. Okay, so it's a product of research, and what we do require us to do more and more researching. So, and it is also a practice to advance knowledge, improve learning and performance, and empower learner through strategic design, management, implementation, and evaluation of learning experiences and environment using appropriate processes and resources. So, one thing you will agree with me is that the second definition or the latest definition of educational technology tends to be more holistic than what we had in the earlier version. Therefore, so we need to really understand what we are doing. And it is very important for us to get the gist of what we are doing is all about. All right. So, and if you look at my slide, oh, sorry, please, can somebody confirm if the audio is good now? Is the audio back? Let somebody confirm that. Okay, okay. I think I can proceed. Oh, thank you, Mustafa. All right. So now in educational technology, what do we create? What do we create? What's our product? We've had a lot of educational technology products. We can talk of, in different products that has been built by and that are supposed with the intention of improving people's performance, of facilitating learning, of even creating or designing a learning environment. So, what do we create? What is creation in the context of educational technology? Creation refers to the research, theory, and practice involved in the generation of instructional material or products, learning environment, and large teaching learning system in many different settings, whether formal or informal or non-formal. So whatever we design, our products does not end in school. So whether you design an instructional material that is for school, or you design a scenario-based course, or you design something that is that was deployed on platforms like Coursera and the likes, you are still doing educational technology and you are creating that. So there exists an evolution in media formats and in theoretical underpinning for the materials and system that have been created. So there is a theory that backs the creation of anything. So we don't just create for fun. So we don't just go carry our laptop because we understand how to write program and then we begin to code. That is not edutech. So it has to have a very strong theoretical framework that you are building on. It's just like when you are trying to build an high riser building. So and you have to do scaffold around. You have to do scaffold such that people can climb and they can easily get to the top easily. Okay, so edtech can be as simple as uh films, creating instructional video content, or it can advance to something we call programmed instruction, a kind of program that's that is adaptive to users' response. So it can be that is also edutech. So how do we create in edutech? So let me quickly explain how things are created in edutech. Now, the first I would like to mention is that we follow you know predefined or a specific designed a design approach. And when we talk about design approach, it can come from different developer mindsets. What's actually going through your mind? So it follows a specific, what's it called? A specific uh mindset. Just recently I was talking about design judgment. I don't know if we have any fashion designer among us. So if you have any fashion designer, one thing you will notice is that most of the time, the creativity, whatever you design, comes from your mindset. It comes from what you yourself, what you are consuming. If you are looking at what is not so fashionable, there is every tendency that what you create will not be fashionable. And that is why most of the time you see the fashion designers, they have their catalog filled with different styles, you know and that is because what you see can actually affect your mindset. So, and this mindset can come from what we call aesthetics. It can come from maybe those with science background can have a scientific background. They talk about the engineering background, psychological, procedural, or systemic. And these are different mindsets that people come from, and it is influencing their design. Now, somebody from heart, we probably want to embrace more of the aesthetic part, the beauty. Oh, how beautiful is this? How colorful it is? Yes. And somebody from behavioral sciences, psychology, might want to look at the psychology of colors. So why do we need to use color blue? Why do we need to use color red? What is green saying about what we are designing? So educational technologists coming from different background approach design based on their background. Okay. So without me wasting much of our time, I will just quickly take us through the process of developing educational products, or the process of designing educational technology material. So the popular process, or the popular what you guys called model is the HADI model. Okay. So, but I want to introduce it to you as a process, the HADI process. So that is what I want to introduce you to. Okay. So what is HADI? Most of the time, it is an acronym for analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. So the A there stands for what? For the analysis, while the next D is for design, the next D is for development, the I for implementation, and the E for evaluation. Now, ADI forms the crux, the core of when of the framework of creating an educational technology product. It is the crux. It is what you actually do. And that is why we call it process, because every other model of instructional design are built around ADI. So whatsoever model you are bringing in, you will see the element of ADI. You will see the element of ADI in whatever you are bringing in. Someone said my audio is not audible. Please help me check. Is it, am I good, or maybe is that person's network? So I know you have been taught ADI in different other courses, but I will just try to quickly run through this. The A analysis, what do we analyze? We do the learner analysis, we talk about the task analysis. Learner analysis want to really help us to understand the background of the learner. What as the learners, what have they, what is their level currently? What's their current level before we want to take them to a level higher? And the analysis will really help us to know where we are so that when we get to where we are going, we'll be able to appreciate. So that is what the learner analysis does. The task analysis is that aspect that help us to understand what we want to do. What exactly is the task ahead of us? Are we to build a software? Are we to build a hardware? Are we supposed to write a computer program? So it helps us to determine the task, to understand the task. Okay, you know, the type of task you want to do will determine the kind of instruments you want to bring. Is that right? So now let's talk about the next phase, which is design. Design. So when we talk about design, that is where we choose the learning objectives. That is where we design our storyboard. That is where we write our scripts. That is where we determine, the kind of material that we want to bring in. So it is under the design we do all that. So we talk about, the defining the learning objective. What is it that we want to teach? Since we have determined the learner's level, we know their background, we know their characteristics, then we now come, what do we want to teach them? What is the aim of going into the design? Now, once we have selected our learning objectives, then we design a blueprint, which can be the storyboard or the script. So it can be either the storyboard or the script. So that is the blueprint. And when we are designing the blueprint, we make sure that it aligns with our learning objectives. So if you have said the learning objective, or if you have created the learning objective to contain maybe three, so at the end of this module of instruction, students should be able to do one, two, three. So the selection of contents will revolve around those one, two, three objectives that you have stated. So then we talk about, do material conforms with the message design. So kì í ṣe pé, let me speak Yoruba here. It's not that à ń wí orí, òun wírù. When your blueprint is saying A, your actual design message, the material you are using is saying another thing entirely. So design help us to put structure in place. Design help us to build a structure, a scaffold for the entire creation. And then development is the phase where we put our structure, where we flesh up our structure, where we actually make use of our design. So the design is like the blueprint, Why the development is the execution. So the building a prototype from what we had designed. In the past 3 4, let me say in the past 6 years now, in the past 6 years there is a career that was trending, or that is trending, it's still trend now, and they call them UI/UX, user interface and user experience. So those guys are examples of designers. They come up with a template, they come up with a blueprint. You understand? And then we now move to development. So it is what those guys built on their blueprints that form the cross, you know, uh, that form the cross of the development. Then after that, we talk about implementation. After the whole development had been done, after the whole course had been designed, then somebody have to implement it. We have to subject it to use. It's just like, let's take a pharmacist as an example, that someone that have developed a drug. If nobody use that drug, we cannot know whether the drug is working or not. Someone have to make use of it. Someone have to take the drug. You understand? So that is what we call implementation. And implementation is also as important as the real design and development, because a very beautiful design, well developed, that is poorly implemented, will not yield the results. So if you have not, so in at the implementation stage, that is where we have to ensure that, even from the analysis, we have to bring the stakeholder into the whole development process. Otherwise, if it flops at the level of development, then the entire system is gone. And the final phase of RD is what we call evaluation. Evaluation is determining the worthwhileness of the program. Evaluation helps us to know if there is an impact on the original problem that was identified. So if there is a link, have we actually solved the problem? So that is where we ask ourselves to judge the entire thing we have been working on. Okay, so that is the hardy process. So guys, I'm not going to bore you so much today. So let me just tell you a little we will be able to do in this course. So well, I, I actually love to approach this course from the practical point of view. So I'm looking at us, looking at what we call instructional software development process. So those are part of what we want to learn in this course. We want to look at interaction design. We want to look at center design. We want to look at user interface design, human computer interaction, educational authoring tools. So we might be talking about Captivate, Adobe Captivate. We'll be talking about Articulate Storyline and some other software like that we can use to deploy an educational technology products. So maybe we can touch something on mobile learning app development also as time goes on. So that is what we'll be looking at in the course. So what do you need for this course generally? I think you need your working PC. If you don't have one, please borrow one. So you need a computer for yourself. You need access to good internet. Now, as you know that we have to take this class online, you need access to good internet. Then another thing you need to bring in is your motivation, your readiness to learn. Your readiness to acquire new knowledge is also very key for this course. And also, we might be having some extra class discussion, maybe out of the classroom hours. We can be chatting. If you have any question, please use the platform to reach out to me. I can I'll be able to help out. And then another thing I think we need is we need to bring open-mindedness, because this is going to take you out of your comfort zone. It will definitely take you out of your comfort zone, and then You might need to be doing things you have never done before in your 3 years or 4 years. I don't know, of experience as an educational technologist. So, and then another thing I would like to preach in this class is for us to have, the attitude of seriousness and respect. So nobody knows it all. So, and if you know there is something you need and someone else know, please walk up to that person and approach them with respect and let them see your commitment and seriousness. So, in short, this course might want to stretch us a little bit. I'll be forwarding some content, some materials to you, and I would like Mustafa to please chat me up so we can know the number of weeks we have left for this course so we can actually work out a plan that can engage us and make us to cover our ground easily. So I will be happy to take your questions, maybe through the WhatsApp platform. Please send your questions there. So use the WhatsApp to send your questions to me, and I will be happy to take them so that we can all learn together in the process. So thank you so much, and I'm very sorry for the little itch that we had at the very beginning. So I promise to work out the software uh, before the next class. So presently, I'm using OBS, what we call Open Broadcasting Software. So Open Broadcasting Software is a software that we use for streaming on YouTube for live streaming. So you can stream on as many platforms as you like, and you can use as many camera as you like. So that is the software that we're using for this presentation. And maybe in the future, I'll be happy to teach you how I made my connection and how you also can use it in your own private space. So thank you so much. You guys should have a wonderful evening, and I wish you guys all the best. All right. So I'll be on the WhatsApp to listen to your questions and to attend to them. Thank you so much. And also let me state that I'll be happy to share this slide with you guys on the WhatsApp group. So just keep looking forward to it. I will do it definitely tonight. So thank you. I'm definitely going to use my chat as the attendance for the class tonight. So I've seen a lot of people there. So, and I want to encourage those people that use their nickname to set up the account, like Tioli. Please, I will advise before the next class, please make sure you put your full name there so I know that you are in the class. So I don't know Tioli. Tioli does not align with any matric number. You understand? Please just edit it and or create a new account that bears your name. So, guys, I wish you guys all the best. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye bye.